this week's video. Now, in this week's video, I'm going to respond to many of the comments I've had on some of my previous videos, specifically the ones about whether the Eagles were miming when I saw them live. And whilst I've had lots of people saying that they agree with me that they thought they were miming, there's been lots of people that have been saying various things, reasons why they don't think they were miming, or reasons why I might be wrong or speculating. So I want to, rather than try and answer all of those comments, because there's been over 1,000, I'm going to respond to them in this video. So the first thing I'm going to do is go through some of the main sort of themes of the comments that I've been getting. The first one being that I'm only making these videos for likes. Well, if I knew how to get likes and make popular videos on YouTube, I'd have a far more popular channel than I've currently got. I make the videos because it's something that interests me, and I think the first video I made about this was quite fair enough. It interested me because I'd paid £300 for a ticket to see the Eagles, and then Phil from Wings of Pegasus put us a video up saying that they might be miming. I mean, I wasn't doing it for likes. I didn't know it was going to be a popular video. I just did it because it was something that was on my mind that week. Secondly, people said I made this video because I'm jealous of Don Henley. Jealous of Don Henley? I mean, you know, if at the age of 2 years old I'd brought out an album called Motel California with, you know, I don't know, New Cub in Town as one of the songs, and it flopped just to see that the Eagles album went on to become an absolute classic, then maybe that might be a grounds for jealousy. But as it is, I'm not jealous of him. I'm a huge fan of the Eagles and his music. Do you not think it might be more likely that I've paid all this money to see a ticket and I might be a bit miffed that he might be miming? Another comment that keeps cropping up is people saying I'm using the wrong word, miming, that I should be saying lip sync. Well, the amount of time that it took people to write these comments saying that I was wrong, it takes about 2 seconds to look up the definition of miming, and there are two definitions of miming. In the one I found, I think, was in the Cambridge English Dictionary. The first one being the sort of classic Marcel Marceau mime where you put on white gloves and pretend that you're trapped in a box. The other one is to pretend you're singing without making any noise. So miming is just as valid way of expressing what he might be doing as lip syncing. Right, and another one, I don't know whether you call this an argument for more authority, but I've had several people saying, I've been a singer for 40 years, I know when someone's singing live. Well, yes, you probably have got more of a clue than someone who's never sung, but do you not think that maybe Don Henley, who's also been singing for 50 odd years, knows how to make it look like he's singing, whether he is or not? I mean, the thing is, when you're miming, you're not just standing there going, you actually sing along as well, because your body looks different if you're not singing. So I think it's fairly easy to accept that Don Henley would know how to look like he's actually singing, even if he isn't. One of the other ones was people saying I was sat in the third row, there's no way he was miming, I was watching very closely. Well, I'm sure a lot of these people didn't even watch my video, because if you watch my review of it, all the way through I was saying how I was completely convinced they weren't miming. I walked away from the gig thinking there's no way they were miming. It was done so well. And it wasn't until afterwards where I found some of my footage and lined it up with the footage from Phil's Wings of Pegasus video that I discovered they were miming, and I was very disappointed. But while I was there, I didn't think they were at all. The other thing people were putting up saying, I filmed it, have a look at this. And surprisingly, every video that I went to that said, check this out, this is the film that I put up there, it had been removed, because when Don Henley has or the Eagles or whoever it is has the legal right, they will remove the videos. Strangely, none of the videos that say they might be miming have been removed. One of the other ones was saying he looked like he was singing, you could hear he was singing, you could see him taking breaths, you could hear the vocal imperfections, you could hear him breathing. Well, that's because if you listen to the vocal, the most likely thing, and this is speculation, but the most likely thing is he's miming to a good live vocal that he did at some point in the past. He's not miming to a studio vocal, that would sound weird. He's miming to a vocal that he's sung live, and they've left all the breathing, they've left all the slight imperfections in. Obviously, if he did a studio vocal and it was absolutely immaculate like it was on the record, then it would be too obvious. He's miming to a live vocal. And lastly, people telling me about the screens behind them not being in sync. Well, I know that, I was there, and someone said to me, pro tip, light moves faster than sound. Pro what? Pro primary school teacher? That's when I found that out. And that might be a small reason why you're seeing the slight delay on the screen, but probably the main reason is it has to be processed. They're filming it, it gets processed and then put up on the screen. That's not an immediate thing. The processing has to be done to make that picture go up there, especially when it's intermingled with graphics. So thanks for the pro tip, whatever you're a pro at. I'm now going to deal with specifics. I'm not going to deal with speculation here. I'm going to tell you exactly what I've discovered. I took some footage of him singing Desperado. I didn't do it for this reason. I didn't do it to try and match it up. As I say, at this point, I was convinced they weren't miming. I took a video, and it just so happened when I got home, it matched up with part of what Phil had done on his Wings of Pegasus video, part of the vocal that he'd analysed. I lined it up with the vocal that Phil had analysed, and it matched exactly. It's the same vocal. There's no way it can't be the same vocal. I then have found, before they got taken down, 2 more bits of footage, well actually 3, but one was from the same night that I was there. I was there on the 6th of June. I found people have posted Desperado from the 8th and the 9th of June. I've lined up all of these tracks. There's different parts of the songs, some of them are full longer than others, and they all match exactly. They are exactly the same vocal track. There's no way they're not. You don't have to do a deep analysis like Phil did to hear they're the same vocal, and I'm going to demonstrate that later in the video if you don't believe me. So I was also worried that maybe people had put the wrong dates on these videos that I was listening to. I mean, I know from Phil's video, they were from concerts in America last year, and earlier this year, that he matched up and the vocal was identical. The one from my camera was identical, and the other 2 that I found were identical as well. But I was worried that maybe people had put the wrong, on the nights at the Co-op, because you can't really tell which night it was, whether they put the wrong date that they were there. But I had a close listen, and I discovered there are slight differences in the instrumentation behind the vocal. One of the parts I noticed is the piano on the collo voce. Look it up. It's the Italian musical expression, meaning that you basically follow the vocalist. The collo voce section at the end of the song, where Don Henley is, you know, leaving a gap, and then he comes in surprisingly at an identical time every night. The piano is slightly different because the vocal is on a click track, the pianist is playing, and he's playing the same chords, but he puts them in a slightly different place on the 2 different recordings that I've got, showing that the piano is live. Right, I've grabbed my guitar to demonstrate the second one. Stuart Smith, fantastic guitarist, doing all the guitar parts. After the line, it's hard to tell the night time from the day, I think it is, he does this guitar lick. He did it on both recordings, on the, I think it's on the 8th and 9th. On one night, he does this. Lets it sustain. The other night he goes, and he goes, he gives it a little bit of tremolo arm, listen. And you can quite clearly hear it's different on each night. He plays exactly the same lick with the same timing, but he uses the tremolo arm on one night, not the other. Right, I'll put my guitar away now. Now, I'm not going to put up footage of where I've married up all the tracks and you can hear they're exactly the same, because I don't want to risk this video getting taken down, because it will get taken down if I put that up, whereas if I don't use any copyrighted material, it can't. Well, unless I get in trouble for saying that he's using the same vocal track every night. But he is, so, you know, I find it very difficult to believe that that will, and plus the other videos have been up for quite some time that haven't been taken down for the same reason. But I'm going to put at the very end of this video, I will put a link up to an unlisted video where you can go and look for yourself. I shall have to hide it somewhere so it doesn't affect my channel, because I don't want my channel getting taken down. But the footage, I can't put it on here, but I have the evidence to prove it, and I'll put it on that video at the end. And what I'm going to do now as well is prove that how an identical vocal sounds identical, how someone's singing something on a different night, there's no way you can make it sound the same, make it sound identical like these vocals do when they're layered up. Even if you sing a line from a song straight after it, you sing the line, then you sing it straight again, there will be differences. In fact, that difference has been exploited for many years in double tracking vocals or triple tracking vocals. To make a vocal sound more punchy, a singer will sing it 3 times, and those slight differences, even if it sounds the same to your ear, when you layer them up, because of the way it's going to be inherently different, it makes it sound fat. If you were to get the same, like these days, it's very easy. You could get a vocalist to sing one line, then you can just copy and paste the vocal, but it doesn't make any difference. If it's the same vocal, it sounds exactly the same. You have to re-sing it to get that effect, to make it fatten up. And that's why you can tell with these vocals that they are the same vocal, they exactly match. And to get the timing absolutely precise, the phrasing absolutely precise, the imperfections absolutely precise, every time over a space of 9 months, every night, to get it exactly the same, it's impossible. That isn't what's happened, it's the same vocal track. So I'm going to use one of my songs here, so I can't get done for copyright, to demonstrate. I'm going to sing it 4 times, and so you can hear the difference when it's layered up, and you can hear the difference when it's the same vocal just copied and pasted. So to explain what I've done in this video, I'll put some captions on as well. I started off with one single vocal, then with a different baseball cap, so you can see it's a different take. I put a second take on, and you can hear, although I'm singing an identical thing, straight afterwards on the same mic in the same room, unlike when it's been done in a concert months and months apart. You can hear there's a sort of almost chorusing effect how it changes. Then I add a third vocal, you can hear it changes the sound as well. It sounds like a group of people singing, rather than one single vocal. Then I add a fourth one. Then I'll show you a whole chorus of all four of them together. I'll take the music out as well so you can hear more clearly. You can really hear the difference. And the last chorus, last part of the chorus, I'm going to build it up with the same vocal take so you can hear it doesn't sound any different. The vocal just gets louder, and that's the difference with what it sounds like with a copied vocal and then a re-sung multi-tracked vocal.
Suddenly I'm flashing far below me, flying out over the county line. Streets and houses stretch as far as the mountains, like it's part of a grand design. Past the town where people stayed by the lake that they had made, as they crossed the river deep and wide. Sat down on a ranch in the desert, on a trail where those pioneers came. The cowboy tells me it's the rainy season, but it sure don't look like rain. And as the sunset came, I rode a horse with no name, looking up at Spirit Mountain. I guess I should have been a cowboy. I could have played those cowboy songs. Everyone would come and see me. Maybe they sing along. I guess I should have been a cowboy. I could have loved some bar and grill, charged you $50 to see me. Maybe someday I will. Maybe someday I will.
Well, I hope that was useful. You can hear the difference in what a layered up vocal and a copied vocal sounds like. It sounds very different. And if you want, I'm going to put the link up to that video now. You can go and have a look on that video. If it's still there, it may get taken down because it's got Eagles music on it, but the evidence is there in that video. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope that's cleared some things up. I hope I've responded to the people that left comments and it's answered their questions, that I'm not speculating. I do actually have some evidence for that. I wouldn't claim to be an expert, but I do know a bit about these things. I've spent a lot of time recording, so I do kind of know how it works. Leave me a comment, leave a like, subscribe as well would be nice, and I bring out new videos 7 PM UK time every Friday, and I hope to see you next week.
On a trail where those pioneers came, the cowboy tells me it's the rainy season, but it sure don't look like rain. As the sunset came, I rode a horse with no name, looking up at Spirit Mountain. I guess I should have been a cowboy. I could have played those cowboy songs. Everyone could come and see me. Maybe they'd sing along. I guess I should have been a cowboy. I could have loved some bar and grill, just for $50 to see